war never changes, as said by Ron Perlman. As far as a quote goes, it's a great one to describe the console wars. Times where people were genuinely up in arms to passionately defend their purchases of a certain console by dissecting each of them.
I remember this one fucking time. My brother, he's always played PlayStation, and I've always played Xbox. Apart from when I was younger, I played the PlayStation 2, and then I hated the PlayStation 3, so I traded that in for an Xbox. Actually, my late nan, brought me the Xbox 360, and I realised that both PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 was trash that year. So I got an Xbox One to try again, to go again, and that was a lot better than the last gen. And I've also played on PlayStation 4 because I had a mate that played PlayStation 4, and I've tried it before, and there's no difference between a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. Fast forward to Xbox Series X and S. I like how small the Xbox Series S and X are because it doesn't take much room to fill in your bedroom, and I have a very small bedroom with limited space. Now I have, because of my screen and that lot on here, I have my Xbox down on the floor, and I have a TV in the corner for when I play games on my console. I don't know, and if I had a PlayStation 5, considering how big they are, it would probably be the size of my computer, so I would probably struggle to find space for a PlayStation 5. Probably in the kind of same area that my Xbox Series S is, but it would probably... I wouldn't be like... Right now I can walk up to the window and look out the window if I wanted to. If I had a PlayStation 5 I wouldn't have that option, so therefore Xbox is a lot better because of it being smaller. I think when the Xbox was big, like Xbox One, I feel like it just took way too much space up, and sometimes I would find it hard for a place to put it. But with the Xbox Series S and X, I can put it in my windowsill because it's very, very small. It's very, very small. I could literally put it in my top drawer and have the cable coming out of my drawer and into the TV if I wanted to. So it's actually a lot better than having a big bulky ass fucking fuck off console like the PlayStation 5. But all in all, PlayStation 5, I think I've played it a total of one time. I think I played Back 4 Blood on it, and there's no difference between the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series S and X. They are all the same now. They are all as good as a computer. They're just a cheaper version of a computer now. Yeah, they do everything. You can go on, you can go online just like on a PC. The only difference is you have to buy a subscription if you want to play on multiplayer on some of the games on both Xbox and PlayStation. That's where PC is the real winner, because they don't charge you to use your own fucking goddamn Wi-Fi and internet. So I think PC wins that argument. But there was this one time when I was an Xbox One player and my brother was a PlayStation 4 player. He just says the Xbox is a worse console than the PlayStation, and trying to have a conversation about it, and I said why, and he said because PlayStation is better, not giving me an actual answer how it's better. Where somebody more experienced in both Xbox and PlayStation, playing the PlayStation a few times, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 a few times, because I know people that own one and that have allowed me to play it before, and I can tell you this right now, this is unbiased and this is 100% truthful, there's no difference in both consoles nowadays. So in my opinion, PC wins in the console wars. Yeah. If I had to pick a winner, it would probably be Xbox, because I like the feel of the controller. But it's depends what you like. If you like the feel of a PlayStation controller, you'll obviously say PlayStation is better. Doesn't make you right, it doesn't make you correct, because in my opinion, everything's the same. Nintendo is the shittier version of both of those consoles. So let's take this moment and say thank you Microsoft and Sony, and fuck Nintendo, because the Nintendo Switch is garbage. The Xbox and PlayStation are masterpieces together. They are no longer, there's not one that's better than the other. They are both masterpieces together. The PC is better than console. Go fuck yourself if you think anything different. The console is a cheaper version of a PC. If you can't afford a PC, then you'd go with a console, like I had to do for years before I got my PC.
Them in excruciating detail. For those who don't understand the console,
I'm bad at video games, so I play Xbox. You're coping, bruh. Like, what is the difference between an Xbox controller and a PlayStation controller, apart from A, B, X, and Y? They are literally in the same fucking place as the PlayStation controller. These buttons are in the same place as the PlayStation controller, motherfucker. So these idiots that do console wars in the year 2024 can go and grab something from their hardware store, and then they can hang out with me and play some Xbox or PlayStation. Bring your PlayStation to my house and we will play simultaneously together and say these consoles are just as good as each other. Yes. Yes, they are. Yes.
The war, it's hard to paint a mental picture of what is essentially gaming not for fun.
Trying to say that you're bad because you own a console is a new, like, coping mechanism. Like, bruh. You can be bad whether you play on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, or Nintendo. And most people in this world, I'm no mathematician, but they suck at video games, most people in this world. But who's the worst person in this world at video games? Me, this guy right here. And I am proud that I am bad at video games because I play for fun, not to become the next XQC.
Or for a goal, but just to defend a company. The release of games were just sales numbers, review scores you could screenshot and show other people. All of this in an effort to say that a console, not a game or even an experience, was superior.
Did you just call the Nintendo Switch a console? That is a heap of horseradish and shite. Nintendo Switch isn't even a console. It's a PlayStation Portable. But a few years after the PlayStation Portable was released.
Scores you could screenshot and show other people. All of this in an effort to say that a console...
That is not a console, it's a fucking tablet, bro.
Not a game or even an experience was superior.
Merry Christmas, Xbox.
Thank you.
Getting back on topic, this...
But the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, that was the worst year of consoles because both of them was trash. But now... both of them are good. So that 1 year of both of them being trash, they learned from their mistakes and made two good consoles. And now we've got the PlayStation 5 and Xbox, which are equally as good as one another. The only difference is Spider-Man is over on the PlayStation, but it comes over to the PC. And as a guy that has a PC and an Xbox, I thank you, Sony, for putting Spider-Man on PC.
Stretches back into the 90s. Sega versus...
But that's the only thing that separates the two consoles is the exclusives. But the exclusives are always found on PC anyway, so PC, it rules the gaming scene. Sony and Microsoft, they should combine each other into one, and they should make one good-ass console, because both of their knowledges and putting both exclusives onto one box and them collabing as well, that would be the best thing to happen to the gaming industry since the gaming industry started. Because if you put two great minds together, you will have one beast of a console. And maybe that console will be just like a computer. Why did I stutter when I was trying to say computer? Oh, I'm stupid.
Nintendo set the stage for what a console war is, with each company outright insulting...
So back then, let's do some maths. Which one of these are better? If you said Nintendo Entertainment System, you are fucking wrong. It was Sega Genesis, aka Sega Mega Drive. This console is the best console that happened to gaming. But now, we don't have Sega making consoles anymore, for some unknown reason. What happened to you, Sega? I think you still make games, but you quit making consoles. What made you quit? That's my question to Sega.
What a console war is, with each company outright insulting the other in advertisements to get you, the consumer, to buy their product.
Why can't it be more like that nice boy Mario?
Inevitably, this console war brought about innovation between these companies because the companies themselves were fighting on the front lines with each other. Nintendo, obviously, didn't have to do much work by having a large amount of the popular games to play on their console. But Sega put in the work to popularize phrases like blast processing, which then made Nintendo respond by, quote-unquote, debunking it. This bickering was made especially funny years down the road because commonly, many people didn't think blast processing was actually a thing. It really was just a marketing buzzword to get people to buy the Genesis. And it would almost be as funny as the truth if it just ended there. But blast processing...
these visuals aren't good for my vertigo. Like, come on, bro. Use something that is less flashy, please.
It does exist, and it's a very real feature that not a single shipped Genesis game ever used. This entire list, not one of them ever used it. Not once. Why? It's so stupid. In a more recent era, most people know the console wars as Sony versus Microsoft. The Xbox versus PlayStation. These two titans duke it out on the front lines of consumer store shelves, while Nintendo just kind of does their own thing. All of this...
There's no one way to Christmas, but no matter how you do it, pay it in full with ClearPay.
What month is it? It's fucking Nintendo. It's fucking November, bruh. So it's not even December yet, and you're already advertising Christmas to me. Well, I'm gonna steal Christmas this year. I'm gonna get everybody's Christmas trees, and I'm going to eat them all, and then I'm gonna poop out Christmas pudding. That will show them for advertising fucking Christmas in November.
Consumer store shelves, while Nintendo just kind of does their own thing.
That is actually a weird thing nowadays. How it's Sony versus Microsoft, but nobody pays attention to Nintendo, and that is because Nintendo console is fucking shot. But which one is better? PlayStation 2 versus the Xbox Classic. PlayStation 2, hands down. But PlayStation 3 versus PlayStation 4 versus Xbox 360, sorry. PlayStation 3 was better than Xbox 360. Xbox 360, there was so many, like, the power brick turning red, the actual console itself turning red, there was so many problems. With PlayStation 3, all that was wrong with that is, one, the menu screen looked too much like the PlayStation Portable's menu screen, that's number one. But number two, the storage was shit. That's why I got an Xbox 360 to see if the storage was better, but the console was shit. So you couldn't win that year, so that's a tie. And nowadays they're tying with two really good consoles. But on my Team Xbox, I will always be with Team Xbox because Xbox, I just like their name, Xbox. PlayStation, oh, that's too simple for me. Like, oh, it's a box that you play on, so it's called the PlayStation. Nah, get the fuck out of here. Xbox. It's unique, bruh. It's unique. It's got an X on the box. I just like fucking retarded shit. I don't fucking know why. They're both just as good as each other. There's no winner. It's a tie again. And I just spat all over my webcam and computer screen. Why did I just spit then? Because I got saliva. It's a problem. Sometimes I get a bit too moist in the mouth, pause, and then I start to spit. I wish I could swallow though.
All this began in the early 2000s, with Sony releasing the PS2, and it quickly becoming the best-selling console ever made. A title...
Yeah, I'll agree with that. PlayStation 2, something that Sony did has never been done again. PlayStation 2 was just perfect from the games to the actual thing itself, bruh. But nowadays, the only issue with PlayStation 2, and it's because it was an olden era of video gaming, you had a memory card, and if you forget to put it in your console, then it's back to the beginning, so you have to make sure that you put it in your console when you're ready to play. Where nowadays, it's the box has everything on it, so we don't have to buy memory cards anymore.
It still holds to this day.
Yes, of course it does, because like PlayStation 2, what games did we have? The Simpsons Road Rage, The Simpsons Hit and Run, Call of Duties when Call of Duty was good, Battlefield, I think. I don't know, don't quote me on that. We had The Getaway, remember that game? We had Bully, Scholarship Edition or Canis Cadem Edit on the PlayStation 2. We had GTA San Andreas, GTA 3. We had I had a Crazy Frog Racer game, like a racing game, but it was Crazy Frog. Oh my god. FIFA 07, the best FIFA still to this day. I love FIFA 07. I wish they would remaster that. I would buy it in an instant. FIFA 11, and I played loads of FIFAs on the PlayStation 2. They stopped making FIFA for the PlayStation 2 when FIFA 13 came out. That was the last PlayStation 2 FIFA ever, and then I think I started playing it on a different console. But yeah, I think I had NHL on the PlayStation Portable as well. So yeah, my favourite consoles of all time, PlayStation 2 of course, Nintendo Wii, Sega Mega Drive, and the Nintendo DS was good. Nintendo Switch, I hardly use it, but I do have one. Game Boy, that was something different. It wasn't good. PlayStation 1, I didn't enjoy. I'm gonna keep it a stack. I think PlayStation 2, I was born around, well, I wasn't born around because I was born in 1997, but I started playing PlayStation 2 and then I wanted to try a PlayStation 1 to see if that was just as good. I didn't like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 was where it was at. PlayStation 1 games just felt and looked really shit. Nintendo Wii, I used to love Mario Kart Wii on the Nintendo Wii. I used to play Bully on it. I used to play a game called The Cube. It was based off of a TV show called The Cube. I played, I think it was called My Sims, and I also played The Sims on it as well. I also, when they stopped making FIFA for PlayStation 2, I would get it on the Nintendo Wii. So yeah, because I think they were still making it on the Nintendo Wii when they stopped making it on PlayStation 2. So yeah, PlayStation 3, I've only played GTA 4 online, and that was with my friend. That was when I played multiplayer on PlayStation 3 for the first time. Xbox 360, I just played a lot of Far Cry 3 on it. I got addicted to Far Cry 3. It was such a good game. I never had a Game Boy Advance, and I had a PlayStation Portable, which I would play Liberty City Stories on, and I think Vice City Stories on. Very decent GTA games, and I played one of the NHL games on PlayStation Portable. I don't remember what it was called though. I think it might have been NHL 2015. It was quite an old one, but yeah, that's when that introduced me to NHL for the first time and NBA for the first time. I still have NBA 2K10 in the next room. I could also show you. I could show you some of the games. NBA 2K10. It's just there. If you can't see it. I have an unopened FIFA 13. I had this on the PlayStation 2, so I've never opened this. So if you want something that's already packaged up, I could always sell it for £1.50. Football Manager handheld 2011. This was the first Football Manager that I used to play. The Football Managers to nowadays, they're a lot worse than this one. This one was the best one. I've tried some of the Football Manager games nowadays and they're just really poorly made, but for some reason people still like them. I don't know. Not for me. And I also have SmackDown vs. Raw for the PlayStation 2. We've had SmackDown vs. Raw, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and that was back when who are the was it Ukes and THQ? That was back when they could make wrestling games. AEW Fight Forever got my hopes up, thinking, oh, this is going to be like SmackDown vs. Raw days, and that game, I tell you this right now, that game is just not good. AEW Fight Forever. I enjoyed it for a short period of time, but I prefer WWE 2K. It's a lot better. But anyway, back to the video.
It still holds to this day. The PlayStation 2 was secretly, not so secretly, meant to step on Microsoft's toes by competing with home computers, something Microsoft noticed, so they decided to respond with the Xbox.
Nah, PlayStation 2 versus Xbox. The classic Xbox. I played that Xbox at my mother's friend's house, and because he had a classic Xbox, I didn't like it. I liked PlayStation 2 back then. There was just something that Xbox was alright, but back then it just felt weird to play. I think it's because the controllers were that big, probably. It didn't feel as relaxing as playing on the PlayStation 2.
And The Rock. That's fascinating.
Well, thanks, Rock.
And even with the help of my baby, Microsoft managed to make it 21st on the list of best-selling consoles. It didn't exactly dethrone the PS2, but what it did was carve a space in the console market for Microsoft to dominate, especially when Microsoft released Xbox Live. Which, while not the first ever online option for a console, it was the only one to include things like a friends list, a gamer tag that sticks with you in every game, and voice chat.
So yeah, you're gay.
Maybe that one was a mistake, but you get what I mean. The late 2000s brought forth a surge of renewed energy towards a console war between Sony and Microsoft. Except this time, the companies were playing Cold War. They're not buying advertisements to shit all over another console. Instead, they were letting the studios they owned or the games that released do the talking for them. Things became petty pretty quickly. Both companies would withhold stating the price of their console for as long as possible, which ended up working in Microsoft's favor, as when it came time to reveal prices, Sony released the PS3 at $500, $100 more than the most expensive Xbox 360. Although, win for Sony because the Xbox has a little issue where it self-destructs by overheating.
Yeah, Xbox 360 was bad on the console itself, while PlayStation 3 was bad on the storage. So yeah.
But then the PS3 is so notoriously hard to develop for that people start joking it has no games. Eventually, both companies had to bend the knee to the Wii by trying to create their own motion control systems. I own two Kinects, and I can safely say I hate both of them equally. For, fairness sake, I have to mention the PlayStation Move here and acknowledge it exists, but I really don't want to talk about it.
Write the song. Puzzle Pokemon, Togenet, Earl, and Panic on Funkotron.
Please allow a brief intermission for the sponsor of this video. When it comes to smarts, I'll be the first to admit I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. It comes with the territory when 90% of your reading is spent scrolling through old forums. Okay. 2013 saw the announcement of the Xbox One, and Microsoft was like, well, to play games on our console, you have to connect to the internet once every 24 hours, and
I really loved Xbox One, man. I played the hell out of that. Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. I didn't really play games back then because of both consoles being shit. But the Xbox One made me love games again. Like PlayStation 2 was the last time games were actually good, but Xbox One really made me more invested in games again.
The Kinect is required now for it to work, and you have to pay a fee to play used games. And then Sony was like, wait, what? Yeah, Microsoft had to roll that one back. They apologized for that one. For a lot of people, normal people, the console wars died at this moment. But Microsoft shifted priorities to turning their consoles into an ecosystem. Sony continued going down the traditional route of consoles with exclusives, and Nintendo just kind of kept printing money, doing their own thing, except when they didn't print money, but we don't talk about that. Now, unfortunately, the people who didn't give up on the console wars have sort of insulated themselves on forums and social media websites, where they've deluded themselves into thinking the console wars even matter anymore. Imagine instead of the Japanese World War II veterans coming out of the forest they hid in to the war being over, those World War II veterans just created their own insular community. Strategy for combat has shifted as well, from frontline warfare to Cold War proxy tactics, and now being just guerrilla warfare. This sounds insane, but let me give you a little bit of an example. Let's say you're a die-hard Xbox warrior. You can't just outright say that Xbox is better than PlayStation because the console war is lame, quote-unquote.
For me, they're both equally as good. I played on both of the boxes, so I know what I'm talking about.
People know that now. You have to go through hoops to have plausible deniability that you're just poking fun and making a few points. So let's set up the post. Final Fantasy XVI released somewhat recently, so that's the game we're targeting. Hi-Fi Rush is a fun game. People liked it, and it's exclusive to Xbox and PC. If we look on Metacritic, Hi-Fi Rush has the same score as Final Fantasy XVI.
I never played Hi-Fi Rush. It didn't really appeal to me.
But on Metacritic, each port of a game is rated differently, meaning that Hi-Fi Rush is 2 points higher on PC. Throw a quick image together in Photoshop, caption the tweet with something like, wow, hope Spider-Man 2 gets higher than an 87 on Metacritic, and that's perfect. This is also a real post that was made by a real person and the genuine thought process they went through to make it. I shouldn't need to explain why comparing these two games is dumb, nor should I have to explain the fact that Final Fantasy XVI has nearly 4 times the amount of critic reviews compared to Hi-Fi.
So congratulations, Xbox. You've made a cartoon version of Final Fantasy. That isn't a good thing, bruh.
I Rush. This is how the console wars have lived on, though, and it is so mind-numbing. Most of these people will just say they're an impartial observer, and let their cultivated fan base post their propaganda reminiscent of days long gone. Once you understand what's going on, it's so easy to spot these complaints as nothing more than genuine propaganda. And for what reason, I just can't understand. Both of these companies have completely moved on from the console war. Sony is entirely focused on single-player...
They're doing their own thing, and they don't care about causing these console war things Like, PlayStation's minding their own business, so is Xbox, and so is Nintendo. They all just want to be consoles for us to enjoy. Like, it doesn't matter who's got a PlayStation or an Xbox. Go and have your fun. Go and play them. Play some Spider-Man or some Halo. Well, not Halo Infinite, because that shit's trash. Or go and play some Mario Kart, because Mario Kart dominates racing games. I love Mario Kart.
Their experience.
I pray for the day that somebody actually makes a perfect version of Mario Kart for the PC or Xbox or PlayStation. Like, we need a kart game that we can all enjoy that would be just as big as Mario Kart, but nobody seems to know what the fuck they're doing when it comes to kart games apart from Nintendo. So I pray for the day that Nintendo puts Mario on PC. Give us a PC port for Mario Kart, or give us an Xbox port for Mario Kart, or give us everything port for Mario Kart. Just stick it on all of the bitches. Why not? Let us all have fun on Mario Kart, man. Cross-platform that bitch. So, and Nintendo would make a lot of cha-ching off of that, because I'm one person that would buy Mario Kart on PC and on console. I would buy it on both. I can't get enough of Mario Kart.
Xbox is focused on getting people to purchase Game Pass and
Minasan konnichiwa. Xbox no Phil desu.
And Nintendo is printing money on like 2016 tablet hardware. All of this.
I always wait until the Xbox Game Pass has like a £1 price on it, and then I purchase it. If it's not £1 and it's £17.99, I'm not buying it. Give me it for £1, god damn it. I always subscribe when it does that limited time deal of £1 for the month.
Is especially telling after Microsoft moved to acquire Activision Blizzard. This was the only time throughout the current console generation that I think Sony and Microsoft were actually bickering with each other. A lot of it, however, was these companies bending over backwards to the FTC so they could seem sympathetic. To get an idea of just how insane this battle was...
The thing is, PlayStation, I think they got afraid that the great game of Call of Duty... Nope, it's not a great game. I was joking and I was choking on dick, on Activision's dick for a second. But yeah, PlayStation really likes Call of Duty, so they didn't want to lose that game for the Xbox, because that would mean that the game, whoever developed this Sony PlayStation, would have to buy an Xbox just to play their favorite game, Call of Duty. And I don't know why Sony loves Call of Duty so much. It is nothing special. It is literally like a console version of CSGO.
Sony publicly said that no publisher could create a franchise today that could rival Call of Duty. Okay? And even the FTC said Call of Duty is so exceptionally valuable and unique. Okay, that's an opinion. On top of that, by the admission of Microsoft and thus Xbox, we are not in the business of out-consoling Sony. The whole console war has been dead in the water for a while now, and the people fighting it somehow don't realize that. People buy consoles for a multitude of different reasons. Most of the reasons in the modern day just being personal. If you care about playing games and productivity, just get a computer. If you don't want to spend a bunch of money on a computer, $500 gets you unbeatable hardware for the price. The Xbox Series X gets you into the Xbox ecosystem, where you're heavily encouraged to buy Game Pass. Xbox isn't really focused too much on releasing exclusives. One of the two they were banking on this year caused Phil Spencer to go on a live stream and just explain what happened. And with Microsoft buying up so many studios, the amount of Game Pass games available only continues to grow. Buying a PlayStation 5 doesn't get you Game Pass, but the games you do get exclusive access to are mostly high-quality, AAA, single-player experiences. God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us 2, Final Fantasy 16, Spider-Man 2, that's kind of like it, except for maybe 2 more that are coming soon. There's really not that many exclusives. These all act as console sellers for very different target audiences. The Switch is the quote-unquote brand new Nintendo console. It's $300, and the games you get access to are fun, incredibly polished experiences.
But the reason why I like Xbox so much is because of Xbox Game Pass. That's a big factor of why I like it, but also at some point They can make good exclusives. But I just like Xbox Game Pass from time to time. But all in all, when it comes to as a free to play player, it's kind of like I already have an Xbox, so I'll play Xbox now. But yeah, there's nothing really special about both consoles. You play games on them. That's it. Nothing to have an argument about here.
Except Pokemon. Jesus. There's no correct opinion here, and going back through every single console war that has happened, there was no correct opinion there either. The Genesis and the SNES both offered amazing games, as did the N64 and the Dreamcast. The OG Xbox has some absolute killers, same with the PlayStation 2. The Xbox 360 might have started out dominating, but the PlayStation 3 caught up in the end anyway, and it didn't matter because everyone and their mother had a DS and a Wii. The Xbox One had a rocky start with the whole cable and always online thing, but things balanced out. The PlayStation 4 might have provided a more all-around experience between single-player and multiplayer, but all some people needed was Halo and COD, and they lived. The Wii U had Star Fox Zero, New Super Mario Bros. Okay, look, no one was able to buy the Series X or the PS5 anyway. Both are cheaper options to get computer-like performance for the game.
Exactly, bro. Both are just as good as each other. They are just a mini version of a computer. See, I translated what he was trying to say.
Do you feel like playing in your living room? Something like 5 games, something $10.99 a month. Moral of the story, Nintendo printed money once again. Like, holy shit, only beaten out by their other consoles and the lifetime sales of the PS2. Consoles don't matter. Whether you play games on the latest cutting-edge computers or consoles, or you're still holding on to your modified 3DS because no one feels like porting Kid Icarus Uprising, the only thing that matters are the games. Without them, these are all useless, incredibly expensive paperweights.
Exactly.
So hurl insults all you want. Act like you don't enjoy Starfield or Spider-Man 2, and sometimes just straight up lie, like not even trying to hide it. Come on, man. All I'm trying to say is that the world has left the console wars behind. And please, for the love of God, if you believe in the console wars, shut up about video games. All of your opinions are just the worst. I hate having to listen to them. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, watching another, or joining my Discord to discuss.
Some people will invest more time on arguing about their console than actually playing the fucking console. Like, that is why I hate humans.